Hi there, Dance Studio owner. It's Clint Salty here, founder of the Dance Studio Owners Association. Welcome to 2020. Great to have you with us. And over the next 6 weeks, I'm bringing you a brand new series where I've actually been interviewed by the incredible Lauren Ritchie from the Dance Podcast. Now, in these 6 episodes, we're going to talk about everything from feeling relevant now in the fast-moving pace with technology, how to be an authentic leader, what happens when you feel complacent in your business and you're kind of just tracking along and you kind of don't want anything else, how to get that motivation and edge. We're going to talk about disrupting the norm and how do you stand out from all of the other dance studios that are in your local area. We talk about expectations of yourself, of your team members, how to get the most out of your team, and also how to not be fearful of other people's opinions and to make sure that you are running your dance studio and nobody else is. It's an incredible, wide-ranging conversation Lauren and I are having over these next 6 weeks, and I am so excited to share it with you. Before we get into it, we have also opened the doors to our Inner Circle program where my team and I work closely with a group of studio owners. If you want more details on that program, go to dsoa.com/inner circle. Now let's get on with the show.
Welcome to Transform My Dance Studio podcast. My name is Lauren Ritchie, and I am thrilled to be doing a takeover series with Clint. Clint and I met on my podcast, the Dance Podcast, a few years ago, and dove so deep into topics about leadership, business, personal development, all of these wonderful things that show up in the dance studio for owners and teachers, choreographers, dancers, parents. It's a whole community. So thank you, Clint. This is the last one in our series, and I have just been so grateful to steal your time and hear your voice.
Oh, it's incredible. I feel so privileged that I get to talk with you. It's been great. Thanks, Lauren.
Awesome. Okay. Well, this one is a really fun one for me, and I'll backdate it a little bit so I'm doing my master's in education in coaching studies, and my focus is mental skills training, which essentially means I have been nerding out on sports psychologists for many years. And this phrase was one that Michael Gervais, a great sports psychologist, has sort of coined. And I'm just, we're going to talk about this. And he calls it FOPO, which is fear of other people's opinions. And this idea of other people's opinions affecting our behavior, our communication, how we show up online, in person. It's a very real place from just a human perspective. We are essentially tribal creatures. When we've created a dance studio, we have created a tribe of sorts. And it doesn't matter if we're the leader or not. We have a sense of community and belonging from these spaces. So what I love so much is that when you open a studio, in my opinion, you get to really bring your heart into it. And I think that that's something that you see from all the studio owners that you work with. And I'd love to know if you have some great examples or how you coach studio owners to stay true to themselves and stay true to their voice as their community grows.
Look, it is really, really challenging. There's a great interview. Brene Brown did this Being Brave series, and she interviewed Oprah. And when Brene asked Oprah about what is your definition of brave, I'll butcher what she said, but it was something along the lines of being brave means that you always disappoint somebody. And it's so true. It is so true. And I'm so grateful that I saw that episode, because every time I am making a decision, I know straight away this is going to disappoint people. And I'm accepting that it is going to disappoint people. And that has also made me a little more understanding when I am disappointed, because I know that I have disappointed and I will be disappointed. And so I think knowing both sides of that coin is a really great attribute, a great quality to have. So that's the first thing, is to know that as your studio grows, as you need to make difficult decisions, from letting go that favorite teacher who everyone loves but is an absolute nightmare to work with, to closing down a location that you might have had for many years to focus on your second or your first original location, to breaking up a business partnership. I mean, I've seen most things. I won't say everything because I don't think I've seen everything, but I've seen a lot of things when it comes to staying the course and the difficult decisions our studio owners have had to make to stay the course. Now, where it gets messy is when there is no course, when you actually don't have the direction or the clarity of where your business is headed. And I mentioned in a previous episode this piece around having that 3-year vision in your head, having the 12-month plan, having the 90-day plan mapped out. Because if you don't have that, any decision you make, you'll just be thinking about the pain or disappointment it's causing in that moment. You won't have the foresight to see how that decision is going to impact your business in 90 days, 12 months, or 3 years. And that's the foresight we need to make the best decision possible. I'm not going to say the right decision because apparently 70% of the decisions we make are wrong. So I'm not going to say the right decision. I'm just going to say the best decision possible is when we have that foresight to see, okay, this hurts. This decision I've made has disappointed people. This decision is very different to how every other dance studio in our area operates. But that's okay because I know where I'm headed. And that is, like, for me, like, that is key. And that will shift and change and evolve every year. The point of the 3-year vision is actually not so that you reach it in 3 years. The point of the 3-year vision is to give you a roadmap so that you can do the best job of achieving your goals and staying true to who you are and what you believe in and what you want to build. It doesn't matter if you get there or not. It's just giving you the guidance and clarity that you need so you can do the best job with what you have.
Do any of the directors that you work with find that they hit a really harsh roadblock, mental roadblock, dreaming and scheming roadblock, when you sort of encourage that 3-year mark? Or is it have you offered sort of a process that you're guiding them so that by the time they're at 3 years, they're kind of like, oh yeah, so I guess in 3 years, this would be the thing.
Yeah, definitely. So it's definitely a visualization exercise to like plan out like what that 3 years is. I don't just say, okay guys, what's your 3-year vision? Just write it down. I think it's about I feel like it's like maybe 16 or 18 kind of steps and questioning and visioning work that we do around like creating that 3-year vision. It's one of the first things we do in the first month inside of the inner circle before we get into the deep, meaty systems and processes. Because again, I need our members to have that before we go into anything else. Otherwise it's a mess. That's when they're like on the treadmill, they're being pulled in a million different directions, and they're like, I have no idea what's going on at the moment. And so we need to like get them zoomed in to have the clarity. So yeah, it is tricky. Even with our process, still some of our members need a little more guidance around it because they've never had to do something like this. They have been living the day to day. They're like, I'm up. Did I eat breakfast this morning? Have I showered this week? Like they're kind of like in that mode, right? And so what I love is just seeing them open up to like, oh, I could have that. I could have multiple locations. I could have our class capacity at 90%. Like it's just breaking the mold of what they have today and thinking like this is how it is forever, and getting them thinking bigger, broader with no boundaries. I always say like, this is a dreaming exercise. This is not but I can't afford that and I wouldn't be able to do that. And my husband this, but I've got the kids, so I couldn't move there. And it's like none of that. This is like sit, go through the exercise, and let's like dream up your best plan of like what this dream studio could look like.
Wow. I love that. I know for me, I definitely need that support, and sort of encouragement. So I think it's so wonderful that essentially you're a coach, like you can coach them through that. Now, we talked about feedback on, I think it was a previous episode, and
Yeah,
how much you love feedback.
I do.
Yeah, yeah.
Even when it's like a knife to the heart, and I'll look, and I remember a couple of weeks ago, I was reading some feedback from some of our members, and they are very honest with us because they know we do the work with their feedback. They know, they see changes made because of the feedback. And we're like, give it to us. Like we want to know the ugly so we can make it pretty. And I still get, I still read it, and while I know it's really important, I still get triggered in the process of like going through it and getting defensive. And it takes me about a day to then revisit it and see the greatness that's in all of it. So I don't want to pretend like I'm this feedback person that's like not affected by anything, because I still get affected. It just takes me about a day to process before I can do really good stuff. But a lot of people read the feedback, get triggered, delete it, don't do anything with it, right? And that is a mistake. There is so much gold in feedback.
So I'm curious, knowing that we're talking about other people's opinions, I believe that feedback can be beautiful and wonderful and is critical with any kind of growth. I also know sometimes people's feedback is more their issue. And I'm like,
oh yeah, totally.
You can have this back. I don't need this. Thank
you.
This
is actually your feedback. Thank you very much.
So have you created a bit of a filter, questions to ask yourself? How do you, in that day that it takes sometimes to sort out the feedback, how do you coach yourself or guide people into creating a filter?
The best thing about if it's individual feedback, it's a little harder. So we'll come to that. When it's group feedback, so let's say you're sending a survey out to your parents and they're providing you feedback. The first thing we want to look at is patterns, right? What I love is seeing patterns in feedback. Okay, 30% of people have given me feedback that kind of sounds the same, right? It's like kind of like the same. Like the class is like way too late. I can't bring my 6-year-old out at 8 p.m. at night for a class, right? 30% of people have said this. I should probably look into this. And then you'll get 1 or 2 people that say something that is generally really not related to kind of what you're asking, or it can occasionally come off to be a little vicious or not nice. And in those situations, I mean, for us, we'll address the person. So this is, again, in a group feedback situation. If we get some feedback, and we've had to do it a couple of times where we've had some feedback come through, and I'll say to my team, something's going on with them. Let's arrange a call. I want you to jump on a call with them to check in with them, because I know their feedback actually has nothing to do with the question that I ask, but there's something else going on. And so we always want to get to the root of what the issue is. And sometimes it's something we've done or we've said, but sometimes it's what's going on for them. The amount of times we've reached out and they're like, thank you so much. There's someone's sick in the family, or they're going through a separation. I mean, heavy things. But we wouldn't have known that if we didn't reach out, right? So I think in a group, when it's group feedback, always addressing it. Don't give it a narrative. You do not give it a narrative, right? Please don't make up stories. When you get a smaller amount of feedback, you start creating this whole story. You go back 5 years ago when they said that and they're still holding on to that, and it's a whole thing. No. Don't do any of that. Go to the source, have a call. Don't do the whole aggressive email thing. Get on a call with someone and just say, hey, schedule a call. Hey, thanks so much for your feedback. I noticed when I asked this question, you gave some really interesting feedback, and I'd love to dive a little bit deeper to understand what's going on for you, and also how we can provide you with a better experience, right? It's all we want to do, provide you with a better experience. and listen. And at the end of the day, let's be honest, most people just want to be heard. They just want to be heard. And I've had times where I've had a call with someone, it's lasted 10 minutes, I've not said anything, they've told me what they needed to tell me, and they say, hey, thank you so much for listening. I just needed to talk. And I was like, oh yeah, of course. Of course. I'll do that anytime, And so, yes, that's with the group stuff. When it's like individual feedback, in most cases, it's given in person or over email, and hopefully not through like passive aggressive text messaging. But in any of those situations, you always, if you send an email or something and you think it's landed incorrectly or there's miscommunication, get on a call. Like, you got to have a call. And I know with my team, like, I'm consistently being like, hey, can we jump on Zoom? Hey, we need to jump on Zoom. I'm like, no. Like, they've misinterpreted something, or I've like said something, I've snapped at them, and then they've gotten short with me. And I'm like, oh, no, we don't work like this. Like, let's jump on a call. And so for me, I'm always about like having a call and having, it's been hard for me, but I've encouraged my team, if we ever have a member or a customer that has a challenge or has an issue, and we've done something that has caused the issue, like, we're on calls, right? Like, I've had to, and it's hard because people don't actually like talking on the phone anymore, right? And so, but you have to get on a call also, because like, who wants to like hold on to the stuff and make up a story for like the next 2 days? Like, for me, I think I'm so committed to like getting out of pain quickly that I just like, I don't have time to make up a story. I got to find out what's going on, and I like just want to figure it out. Cause like, I'm like, I can't hold on to this stuff. Like, I don't want to hold on to this for another 2 days or 24 hours. I just need to have the conversation.
Yeah.
And then you have the conversation. There's so much relief. There's so much understanding that can come from a conversation versus an email or a text or a side comment, or so-and-so said, you said that. Like, no, like, let's be adults here and let's just talk and be direct. There's nothing better. I've had some, with some of my team members, I've had to have like very, very confronting conversations. And it is like, my heart still, beats a gazillion miles an hour before the conversation. It's never as bad as I think it's going to be. And after the conversation, we have just a deeper level of understanding towards each other. And I also think a deeper level of respect, because we've had the conversation, and that makes everyone stronger, and it also makes the company stronger. So, again, it's going to come back to communication. But also, like, yes, if you get those crazies, that like say something, you're like, oh my goodness, like, what are they thinking? What are they saying? We still address that, right? We will still address it and say, thank you for your feedback. We go through all of the feedback that we receive to see how we can make improvements. I just want to say thank you so much for reaching out. As always, if you do have any questions or any concerns at any time, please don't wait for a survey. You can send us an email, or we can jump on a call with you. Let us know if you want to jump on a call. Because, it is tricky now with social media that it's very easy for people to just like go on a Facebook group or something and like share. We had a situation with a team member this year who we had to let go. And as soon as we did, like, went straight into a Facebook group and like posted something. And then obviously all of our members like sent it to me. And then I had to say to them, like, hey, like, this is not on, like, this is not the way we behave. And so, yeah, it's tricky.
I had a very similar conversation just last week. Didn't involve me, but it was interesting hearing it third person, because so much of it happened through text. And I said, I won't do that, because there's so many just inflections through voice and facial micro expressions that are being missed. And I, not knowing the situation or being in it, there was part of me that was going, I don't know if they meant it to be super bitchy. I think that they were actually really hurting. But person on the other end took it as bitchiness, and then like away it went. So it is, I love a phone call, and I do think that it also reminds everyone that everyone's just human here.
Yeah, everyone's human, and on some levels, like everyone's hurting in some way. And so, but and there's also circumstances where like a parent shouldn't be at your studio, or a teacher shouldn't be teaching for you, or a student shouldn't be at your studio. I mean, we're not all meant to like get along and love each other in this world. We are all so different. And that is a good thing, and that is okay as well. And so I think being able to, amicably part ways, no matter kind of in what situation, circumstance it is also really healthy and important. I see people, especially with, if they've got problems with a team member or a parent or a student, and the studio owner just like wants to hang on to them, like hang on, try and make it better, try and fix it time and time again. And I'm like, all of this energy that this person is taking away from you is at time and energy you should be putting into your amazing dancers, amazing faculty, amazing parents. And so there is definitely time to cut the wire. It's been great, but we're no longer a great fit for each other. Yeah.
This area I've done some research in, and I feel like your seat at the table could offer an interesting perspective with conversations. I don't know if they've come up in your circle, so if they haven't, that's great. But I've done a lot of research this past summer around age appropriateness. I introduced dance competitions to a whole class of jocks, and they were just wide-eyed and kind of couldn't believe everything that I shared about our version of dance competitions. And it was fascinating to start to dive into the opinions around what age appropriateness is, what dance competitions should and shouldn't contain and be and have and do and all the things. Does competition and essentially people's values and philosophies and missions, like, does that conversation come up in your groups around how to, sort of stay true to that? Or, so many people have so many opinions.
Right. And I think that is why our industry works so well. And that's why it is also a little chaotic and messy, is because everyone has very strong opinions on different things. Everyone is an artist in their own way. And art is all about opinions, right? That's what keeps the art world alive is opinions of others. So yeah, it comes up a lot. When it comes to like the competition piece, it's like a dance studio, right? It's like any business, really. There are lots of competitions out there, and out of all the competitions that are out there, they all have their own set of values and a mission, right? Some of them are money mission driven, right? Like they are just making money. And they're not really mission driven, right? They don't have a deeper mission or a deeper core purpose, and they have a place. They have a place because they're providing a platform for certain studio owners that want to go compete, whatever that experience is for them, and then go back to their studio. And then there's incredible, organizations that are conventions, competitions that are faith-based as well. And they do incredible work, and they're attracting, though, people who are in line with the mission that they have and the core values that they have. And so I think that competitions will never lose their place in the dance industry. They'll always be around. But what will change is what we see as like the successful competition, right? And what I'm already noticing just from what our members share with me at our retreats is that a lot of the competitions that do have a deeper purpose, that are really promoting the values that their competition lives by, the ones that are really talking about creating unity between all of the studios, like coming together, and for something that isn't about competition, but it's around inspiring and motivating each other and creating community. These are the competitions that are doing really well, that I think have such an incredible place in our industry. And I had a dance competition for 5 years, started many years ago, Dance Life Unite. And the reason it was called Unite is because that was my mission. I was sick of judging, and I used to judge a lot of dance competitions back in Australia, where it was like cold and the energy was very competitive, and it was like quiet in the hall, nobody talk. And, it was just it was very militant, right? Like everyone was it was odd. It was really odd. And there was this competitive kind of like this studio over here, this studio over there. You'd go on stage, you'd go off stage, you'd like give a dirty look to like the other studio that's going on. And I was like, this is not healthy for anybody. And so there was plenty of dance competitions, and my whole mission was like, I want to create a place where people come and feel like inspired. Like they just want to be like, oh, I love that routine. And I remember the first year I ran it, I was side stage. I was calling the event. And I remember one group coming off and they were like high-fiving each other and they were like, great job. And the other group were like, good luck. And I was like, this is what I wanted to create the whole time, And so I feel like we're getting more of that. More of that is kind of happening now. And there is greatness in having competitions where there is a winner, right? Because in life, everyone does not get a trophy. We do not get to show up and get a trophy. And so I have a lot of admiration for the competitions who have a first, second, and third, and everyone else gets nothing. I think that, and if you want to dance, if you want to perform, actually, if you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, a vet, an entrepreneur, you got to want to win at life. And so I don't think that is a bad thing. And I think you can have that backed by incredible values and a mission-driven company. I mean, I feel like everyone is winning in that situation. And I feel like those are the companies that'll be doing really well as we head into like the next 5 years. And that's going to take some education as well.
Oh my goodness, I have so many things. The first one is I just want to acknowledge how your story gives me so much inspiration, hearing about you had a dance studio, you had a dance competition, you created DSOA. I'm like, I can't think of a better permission slip to explore different facets and avenues of the community that we love. So that's just a side note of how much I appreciate.
Oh yeah, of course. Take the permission slip and go and run with it, please.
Well, and to sort of circle into today's theme, this is one where I've had a similar journey of just, I think that there's so much to try and do and explore and create. And if you listen to other people's opinions about that, there's a lot of people that are scared of that or don't like that or can call you names because of that. And so I love connecting with somebody else who has had the courage to live by that and not listen to other people's opinions.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's, and I don't know where that came from, but I'm really, it's something I'm very grateful wherever I got that gift of not listening too much to what people say, is a great one. But I also know that if you are someone that's like, well, Clint, I do listen to people's opinions and it kind of drives me and it brings me up and it takes me down. I've seen some members that joined us like that. And I know that when they come into the program that first month, I'm like, oh, we are going to have fun. We are going to have fun. And I've seen them grow and just completely flourish and like turn into the CEO. And we often laugh now when they like make decisions and I'm like, do you remember what you were like 4 years ago? You know, and they laugh. So I don't want anyone thinking like, well, that's not me. I don't have that gene. I'm always going to care about what people say. And there's always an element where we do care what people say, but some more than others. And I think when we are completely aligned to where we want to go and what we want to do, the opinions of others, like the volume gets turned down more and more and more and more, which is a really awesome place to be, because you then attract the right people into your circle that will cheer you on, that will celebrate you, that will throw you the ladder and get you out of the pit of misery, and keep you moving forward.
I think it circles to actually one of our previous conversations that we really dove deep into values, because when you're living in those values, other people's opinions, like you said, they just simmer. They just quiet down because you are so rooted in who you are and what you stand for. So yes, I think that's brilliant. You're preaching to the choir about competitions, because I know from even what we claim to do as dance educators and dance studio directors, you know, we talk a lot about confidence and resilience and contributing to the growth and the mental health and the mental growth of these dancers. And as a mental skills trainer, I fully and fundamentally believe that we can't tout that. We can't say that and not give them conditions that actually encourage that kind of growth and grit and disappointment and you know, hard lessons learned, because that is part of it. So I'm excited to hear that will be the growth of competitions in the next couple of years.
Well, I don't have my crystal ball, but I'm feeling like that's kind of where it's heading.
100%. I agree with you. And I encourage all dance studio directors who are listening and who have sort of heard or can reflect on their choices as a person, but also as a community leader. I think that what you offer, the space that you offer with DSOA, literally is, I believe, changing the landscape of dance studios. And I'm going to speak for everyone by just saying thank you, and thank you for the work and the conversations. You are truly contributing in a way that I don't know if we'll ever feel or you'll fully receive the impact, but I can speak firsthand and from the people who are in the inner circle and who I've watched their businesses grow. I've watched their leadership change. They have so much love and joy and spark and passion for what they do, that obviously things are being done and shifted and going right. So thank you, Clint.
Thank you. I received that, and I'm thrilled to do the work that we do.
If people would like to know more, if they'd like to find DSOA, how can they best connect with you?
Yeah, sure. So everyone that's listening, I hope you have enjoyed our series together. I know I have. I hope it's provided some value to all of you listening. You can go to dsoa.com/the inner circle to get all the details about our coaching program and have a look over it. And if it feels like a great fit, I want to encourage you to apply. We'll have a conversation to see if it's a good fit, and hopefully we'll be able to welcome you into our family.
Amazing. Well, I am so grateful for the conversations. Thank you for letting me hijack Transform Dance Studio.
Yes, we need to do this again. I definitely will have you back. I always love our conversations.
I would absolutely love that. Thanks, Clint.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thank you so much for listening to our episode today of the Transform My Dance Studio podcast. Now, if you'd love to work with me and my team and an incredible group of studio owners from all around the globe, I want to encourage you to check out our Inner Circle program. Just go to dsoa.com/inner circle and apply today to work with us. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week. Take care and bye for now.